The Basavaraj Bommai government has a new problem on its hands. Large-scale agitation against the government by Panchamasali Lingayats, which is threatening to grow bigger by the day. I'm Pooja Prasanna, and over the next couple of minutes, I'll tell you why these protests by the largest sub-sect of the Lingayat community can be the biggest problem that BJP in Karnataka can face ahead of elections. Panchamasalis are the largest chunk of the Lingayat population, making up almost 80% of the population. And Lingayats are largely believed to make up at least 17% of Karnataka's total population. Now, for several years, the Panchamasalis have been demanding that be categorized under the 2A of the reservation list under the state government. Currently, they're categorized under 3B, which makes them backward caste. And if they are categorized under 2A, that will put them in the more backward caste category. Under the current category, for jobs and education, members of the community get 5% reservation, and it could go up to 15% if they are put under the 2A category. But of course, the protests also have political overtones which cannot be ignored. Karnataka in total has had 9 Lingayat chief ministers, of which only 2 of them are from the Panchamasali community, despite them being the largest subsect. The current chief minister, Basavaraj Bommai, too hails from Sadar subsect of the Lingayat community, which is usually seen as a minority within the community. So there is a sense that Panchamasalis have not gotten enough political representation and voice. Also, the fact that one of the most vocal political voices leading these protests is also one of BJP's own legislator, Basavaraj Yatnal, who had aspirations of becoming the Chief Minister of Karnataka instead of Basavaraj Bommai, has been leading these protests and is also fueling the agitations against the Bommai government. And the Congress too hopes to leverage these protests and also split BJP's biggest caste vote bank, the Lingayats, and hope to get political benefits from it. And for the BJP, it's almost impossible to win in the assembly elections without the complete backing of the Lingayats. Now, protest demanding 2A category reservation is not new in Karnataka and had been a tricky issue even for the former Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa. The protests are led by influential seers and has been gaining ground, particularly in the Mumbai Karnataka region, which is believed to be BJP's bastion. Also, on the 22nd of September, the protesters plan to lay siege to the residence of Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai in his hometown and assembly constituency of Shiga. If these protests continue, then they could even threaten Basavaraj Bommai's re-election to the assembly constituency in the upcoming elections. A month later from then, the protesters plan to mobilize 2.5 million people, that's over 25 lakh people, bring them to Bengaluru and lay siege to the state secretariat, that is the Vidhana Soudha. Now, the seers and their supporters have warned BJP government in Karnataka of dire consequences in the upcoming elections if their demands are not fulfilled. But for Bommai, that is not the end of his worries in the state. Now, the protesters, despite being disappointed in the previous Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa, have now started rallying around him once again, and they've said that though their demands could not have been fulfilled by Yediyurappa, they are hugely disappointed in Basavaraj Bommai because he did not keep up his word, and have now said that they will deal with the current government and the BJP through Yediyurappa. Now, this puts the 79-year-old former Chief Minister in a very, very important position in the state, and he could very well leverage this for the political future of his sons. Yediyurappa's further elevation with the state electorate could very well be a very, very tricky matter for the BJP to handle in the next few months.